What makes writing good? What makes writing good? Bridget?
Good structure and style.
Good structure and style makes writing good.
Correct grammar.
Good, correct grammar. Technically correct. Yes, Robert.
This isn't going to sound like it, but understandability, conciseness, and memorability.
All right, so that would be effortless to absorb.
Yes.
Okay, good writing is effortless to absorb. So good writing is effortless to absorb. Good writing is technically correct. Good writing meets its purpose. If you wrote a really awesome essay, but it didn't answer the question or fulfill the requirements of the writing prompt, that is not a good thing. And then, I think we said this, I think you guys said this, good writing communicates ideas effectively. Okay, so that's what makes writing good. What is the most important part of the writing process? What is the most important part of the writing process?
LY adverbs.
No, and LY adverbs are not strong verbs. What is the most important part? If you don't do this, everything is going to be more difficult. The most important part. What is the most important part? It has to be a serious answer. By the look
Oh
of
yes,
it.
I will.
Oh, okay. Then
I'm only serious. I'm serious 50%. Planning.
Planning. Yes. Yes.
I thought writing
Planning.
was more important than that.
Planning is the most important part of the writing process because if you don't plan well, the whole paper is going to be much more difficult to put together. Who can tell me what is the difference between a report and an essay? What is a report compared to what is an essay? Somebody who is not Robert. What is the difference? We don't have as many people today, so it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from Zach yet, I haven't heard from Jacob yet. Zach, what's the difference between a report and an essay? In a report, what are you doing?
Summarizing something.
Summarizing, you're given facts, you're stating what's happening, okay? How might that be different from an essay? An essay, you're gonna still, you'll still be giving facts and stuff, but how is it different? It's important that we understand that, the difference between a report and an essay. Bridget?
With a report, you're just writing down what has happened and what you see, but with an essay, it requires more effort to gather the facts you need, and in a persuasive essay, you have to make an argument.
Okay, right? So one of the things that you said, I'm going to grab out too, is that you take the information in an essay and you kind of internalize it. You have to think about it. And then you can place it in certain places which help show your point of view. Okay? So you can show your point of view in an essay without it being an opinion piece. So a report is just stating the facts. An essay takes the facts, internalizes them a little bit, thinks more about them, decides which ones they're going to be presented in which kind of an order, so that your opinion can come through. Okay? Generally. All right? Whether you're trying to persuade someone, whether you're trying to inform someone, whether you're actually doing an opinion piece, whether you're doing a narrative essay. Okay? So, all right. So that's the difference between a report and an essay. Planning is the most important part of the essay writing process, and there's important things you have to be aware of to make your writing good. So today, we begin work on the final essay of the year. This will be the culmination of everything you have learned so far. You will be actively thinking and reading to research a topic. You're going to be finding sources for your essay on your own. You're going to combine information from multiple sources and create a plan. And of course, you will write an essay following the 6-step process. And best of all, you're all going to get to read aloud this essay to your fellow classmates in church history. So it's a double whammy assignment. Okay? Because it's a double whammy assignment, you will have more time required to do the research gathering, because that's really kind of I mean, it's part of church history and it's part of the essay, but so you'll have more research involved in this paper than you have in others, but it's not a research paper, it is an essay. Today we're going to focus on how to take meaningful, organized notes from multiple sources. You will use the information from this class today and apply it to the Marian apparition essay double duty assignment. So for our class demonstration, you are going to pretend that you have gotten an essay assignment that says, you have to explain why. I want you to explain in a 5-paragraph essay the health benefits of owning a pet. This is imaginary. This is for sample. Okay? So let's say that's what you were doing. You would go safely to the internet and you would gather 3 sources that discuss the benefits of owning a pet. And if you look at the handout that I gave you, what do we have here? We have article number 1, the health and mood boosting benefits of pets. And if you look at that all the way to the back of the second page, that's where the authors are listed and the web address. The second article that we have is, do pets have a positive effect on your brain? And this is actually from the American Academy of Neurology. And this is just a summary of a study that was done. And then if you flip to the last page, backside, it says pets and mental health. And this came from mentalhealth.org. And there's an article there. So I have 3 sources. Everything pertains to the mood benefits of owning a pet. Okay? So those of you at home, you have this handout attached to an email. You want to have it to be looking at. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is take a few minutes, and I want you to quietly read over these articles. All right? So you're reading just to read right now. No pens, nothing. You are reading just for the sheer enjoyment of wanting to learn about the health and mood-boosting benefits of pets. When you get done with the first article, raise your hand, okay? So I'm going to press, no, I'm not going to press pause. I don't know how to press pause on that. Okay, so taking the time just to read over those articles, if you didn't get it all the way finished, don't worry. What did you come away with? What's just like a general impression that you came away with about pets and mental health?
We need a 3rd dog.
You need a 3rd dog, okay. Jacob, we need a 2nd dog, is that right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Robert?
I mean, 1 dog.
You need at least 1 dog to unconditionally love you. All right.
Someone else does.
All right, so this was interesting, right? This is kind of a general interest. Bridget, I'm sorry, did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, they help with a lot of mental health problems, especially stress, anxiety, and depression.
Yes, they do. They do. God was very good to give us pets. So, you've done the first step. Actually, the second step. I did the first step for you because I pulled up the research article. So technically, your first step would be that you gathered your sources. And then you read them the first time through. You just read them to absorb the information. Don't look at the tentative thesis on here. Start thinking in your mind, what could be a possible tentative thesis for you if the essay was describe the mental health benefits of owning a pet? As far as I can go.
Owning a pet has many mental health benefits.
One real pet's only.
You need a pet or you will go insane.
Just like, totally, get a pet. That's the handout that has just been handed out. Okay, let's take a look at this chart that you have in front of you. Okay. So what do you think a good tentative thesis might be? And if you're like, I don't want to think about this, then just flip the paper over and read it to me. What's a good tentative thesis? I'll give you a hint. It's on the paper. Would somebody please read, as if it was their own, the tentative thesis? Caleb, would you please read the tentative thesis that's on your handout? You don't have to come up with it. I got it there.
Many health benefits for pet owners relating to mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
Okay, would you say that rounds up what you just read? There's mental health benefits, there's emotional health benefits, and there's physical health benefits to owning a pet. All right, the other thing that you'll notice that's written right there are the names of the 3 sources that you just got that general information from. Yes? Everybody sees that? Okay. And you'll also notice that next to the source, for each one, I have a shorthand. So Help Guide and Health and Mood is HM. Positive Effect from the Academy of Neurology is just a positive sign. And then Pets and Mental Health is PMH. Okay? That was my step. Now, what I want you guys to do is take the paper and fold it in half.
Which way?
And then fold it in half again.
Now you're right.
Okay, so like this. Fold it in half this way, and then fold it in half again that way. Okay, so you see how it's,
We have a bait.
so you see how it looks? Looks like this.
Oh, that's clever.
Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's take a look now. You'll see a Roman numeral 1, mental, cognitive, in parentheses, think or reason. What do you think, what kind of information do you think might go right there? From the sources that we read. What do you think you'd put right there? Bridget?
That pets can help with the decline in cognitive function, and they can help with people with ADHD or autism.
Awesome. Something like that would go there. How about where it says emotional? What would go there for emotional? Yeah, either one.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love, those kinds of
Stress
things.
relief.
Stress relief.
Helps you deal with being constantly judged.
Constantly. What about physical? What kinds of things would go under physical?
Chasing your cat because you lock it up for the night.
And chasing your cat is good for your heart health.
I know, but when I owned it.
All right.
Lowers blood.
Do all of you have, I'm sorry, Jean.
Lowers blood pressure.
Lowers blood pressure, yes. Okay, I want each of you to take mental cognitive, grab your click pen or a marker and underline it with whatever color you want. Red, blue, whatever, but underline mental and cognitive in red.
Fancy. What?
You're gonna underline mental, cognitive with something colored. Okay, so you'll see here on mine. I underline mine red. You can pick whatever color you want. Okay? Then, emotional. Pick a different color. Highlight it with a different color.
Oh, you're doing blue.
And then for the third paragraph, physical, take a different color and underline that. This is kind of a stress relieving class for those of you who like to do that, like click, then click, 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 click. Ah, makes me feel so good.
It's so good.
All right. All right. Thank you. That was an excellent demonstration, Liam. Okay, so now just think this through. You have this handout. Red, yellow, blue, whatever colors you have, and you have your sources. What do you think you're gonna do?
Run in the halls screaming.
Not yet, that'll come. Bridget,
You will actively read it and color code it so that the color you underline a subject with, you will underline information about that subject with.
you are brilliant. Yes, that's exactly what you're gonna do. So let's take a look at mental, cognitive, think, reason, memory. And I'm gonna tell you this, the bulk of that information, and is going to come from do pets have a positive effect on your brain health? Okay, because that was that specific study. And if you go to this page, it at the top says prior studies have suggested. Okay. If you look there, there's a quote that says, in that first paragraph, our results suggest pet ownership may also be protective against cognitive decline. That fits with that, doesn't it? So underline that with whatever color you chose to do mental cognitive with. Okay, so you see how I did that? I just underlined this because it fits with mental cognitive. So what color did you pick for mental cognitive?
I have 2 colors, so we're doing.
If somebody has a color that Liam could borrow, this would be an
Liam,
excellent time.
Sorry, I only have Easter colors.
Works
Can you
for me,
pencil?
thanks.
You could use pencil, but you want to be able to really see it so it pops.
Fancy.
Okay?
Which side do I want? Where am I
Looking
side?
further down in the article, it says over 6 years, so this is paragraph 4, over 6 years, cognitive scores decreased at a slower rate in pet owners. Whew, that's pretty important. Underline it in that same mental cognitive color.
Okay.
And then the most important one that you'd want to mark is this quote. As stress can negatively affect cognitive function, the potential stress buffering effects of pet ownership could provide a plausible reason for our findings. A companion animal can also increase physical activity, which could benefit cognitive health. You'd want to put a star by that in the same color as the cognitive health. Okay? So we're in this part.
Oh, okay.
Like this one right here. Here, the nice thing is, we're not actually writing our essay from this. So. And then, just because I had more time to prepare for this, if you guys turn to that back page article, Pets and Mental Health, if you look down at those last 2 paragraphs, this is filled with things that have to do with mental cognitive. It has, for example, people with ADHD may benefit from the structure and routine that a pet needs. You'd want to underline that in the mental cognitive color. People with ADHD are hyperactive, especially children, and playing with a pet can be a great way to release excess energy. You want to underline that because that also fits. So we're on the back page of the handout. Right here, these last 2 paragraphs. They're all, you could just put a great big bracket and star it, and that would go with mental cognitive. Okay? All right. What's the next thing that's on your chart? This is, and it'll take you longer at home. I'm just kind of whipping through this. So we got mental cognitive. Jimmy, you can grab your stuff back there. We're pretty far in, so you probably just want to listen. Then we're at emotional. Emotional. Whatever color you chose for emotional, let's go back in. Let's take a look at that first article. So get your click pins to whatever color you had for emotional.
Good pens are fun. I like these.
Okay. Let's take a look at paragraph 3 from that first article. Pets, especially dogs and cats, can reduce anxiety, stress, and depression, ease loneliness. Valuable companionship for older adults. A pet can add real joy and unconditional love to your life. Do you see how those would all be things that match with emotional information? Topics that would go with emotional? You probably just want to watch the video to get yourself caught up, but you'll be fine. You get it. You get it. Further on down, do you see pet owners are less likely to suffer from depression? Would that fit under emotional well-being? Yeah. So highlight that in the same color that you did your emotional.
I agree.
Okay? So I'll show you what this is looking like. Do you guys get an idea of how this is supposed to work?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if, we'll flip the page, let's grab a few more of the emotional. Look at the very first thing on that next page. Playing with a dog, cat, or other pet can elevate levels of serotonin and dopamine, which calm and relax. That fits under emotional, okay? Highlight that in your emotional color. Further down, pets fulfill the basic human need for touch. Whew, highlight that. Stroking, hugging, or otherwise touching a loving animal, key word there, loving animal, not a vicious animal. You're trying to love and stroke a rabid raccoon. No. Stroking, hugging, or otherwise touching a loving animal can rapidly calm and soothe you when you're stressed or anxious. That fits under emotional, highlighted in your emotional color.
We're so emotional.
I know, there's all sorts of more emotional. If you flip to the back page, I'll just show you because for ease of time, I want to keep us moving. This whole chunk right here, all of that is emotional well-being. So whatever your emotional well-being color is, you can pick any color you want. Okay? Whatever your emotional well-being color, that whole section is, that's on the back page. Next back page. The real back page. All right. And then, last thing is physical, number 3, physical. What color did you pick for physical? Let's start finding physical facts. Put them in here. Okay? So I picked blue, and I'm going in and I'm looking for things that sound like physical. All right? Studies have shown that if you look on that front page, the second bullet, people with pets have lower blood pressure. That's a physical benefit. I would underline it in my physical color. And then I also see blood pressure declines significantly within 5 minutes. I would underline that in blue, for me, in blue. Turn to that next page. Those top 3 bullets, or not the top one. We have 3 bullets that all had to do with the physical. Lower triglycerides and cholesterol levels. Heart attack patients with pets survive longer. Pet owners age 65 and over make 30% fewer visits to their doctors. That would all get physical underlines. Okay? Now again, we're doing this in a rapid fashion just to get the idea of what it should be like. So here, while I finish up talking, just pass this along and take a brief glance at it. If you were doing this essay for your own, you'd be spending probably a half hour doing what we just did in 10 minutes. All right, so now you've made your paper look really pretty. Your articles are all colorful. Girls love this stuff. Oh, the little flowers. It's great.
Wait.
So pass along. No, I'm not going to make you put flowers or anything like that. You don't have to use glitter glue. But just take a quick glance and pass it along. The colors will help you because it's great now that you have actively read and color-coded your sources. But at this point, your planning sheet still looks like this, right?
That's fine. This is where you grab your little sibling and transfer all the words to the correct thing.
What do you think the next step is?
Where all the paper we just worked on.
Maybe.
Grab a little sibling.
You need to make this paper pretty too.
You need to make this one look good too.
No, Robert, no.
All right.
Purple flower.
A unicorn. This is like a cooking show. You know how like in the cooking show they put everything together and then they take it out of the oven?
Yeah.
It's like right there. Like, hey, I can do that, I can do that. And then you find out when you're in the kitchen doing it, it takes an hour. Okay, I'm going to show you the next step, and this might be the next day. I can't imagine doing all this at once. You would take the information that you color coded and transfer it to the appropriate spot on the project planning sheet. Does that make sense? Okay.
Perfect.
So as you are looking at what I wrote on here, am I writing incomplete sentences?
Yes.
Am I writing incomplete sentences? No. Am I using occasional symbols?
Yeah.
Am I even writing incomplete words?
No.
Sometimes not. Jacob, can you see that? Right, I'm writing so that I can understand, but also notice, look at what I did before each little bit of information. I put the symbol of what source it came from. See? I put the symbol of what source it came from. Remember how I set that up? So you see how I set that up? That way, I know exactly where the information came from, but it wasn't just a happy thought that popped into my head. So I have the symbols of the sources. So that when I'm done with this, I have taken 3 articles and created a plan from which to write my paper. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, actually.
Make sense? Okay. Oh, good. I love it when I make sense. Okay, now.
Don't you love it more when you make Daltons?
What do you think the next step would be? Writing, okay? Once you have all of this put together, then you would start with the actual writing. Now, with an assignment such as the one that you're going to be doing, I would suggest that you plan a week. We're going to take a good look at this. That you plan a week to get your sources together, to just read them, to then figure out what your tentative thesis might be, to set up your planning sheet and fill it in. But in all honesty, I would suspect that that would take you 3 or 4 days to do it really well.
I made it pretty into a flower. I need a
I tried, I did try.
You just dropped it.
Oh, thank you.
Literally just dropped it.
All right.
Okay.
This one that says Marian apparition, you want to keep handy.
Everything else you can learn.
So I was right.
See what
I wasn't
happens.
wrong.
All right, but before we move on, do you guys get the whole idea of what we just did?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that in real life, it's going to take you a couple days to do this, not 20 minutes. Plan accordingly. All right, very good.
What do you think chances are everybody in here is going to do it in 20 minutes?
Yes.
I'd have to redo it like 3 times.
All right. Please look at the green sheet. Green sheet. Green sheet. Okay. Jacob, in the back corner, would you please read what the writing prompt is?
7th paragraph as they analyze a modern day one paragraph including their opinion on the relevance of the message.
Ooh, hey, that said opinion. You guys get to put your opinion on the relevance of the message. You can't do your opinion like, the apparition occurred on May 18th, but I think it happened on the 19th. No. That's not what we're talking about. You can put your opinion in the relevance of the message. Okay. So, information, 6 to 7 paragraphs, analyze. Who remembers what analyze means? Yeah.
To actively read and synthesize information.
Ooh, actively read and synthesize. That's part of it. I'll read it. Oh, I heard the ka-ching. Or the, no.
Analyze.
All right, let's listen.
Do you
Okay.
wanna read it?
Yes. Everyone listening, what does analyze mean? So you know what you're doing on this essay?
Divide the issue into main parts and discuss each part. Consider how the parts interact and how they work together to form a whole.
Oh, all right. What parts of a Marian apparition do you think people might want to know about? The history of the Marian apparition. When did it happen? What else might people want to know?
The message.
What the message was. And what did you say, Caleb?
Just like when, where, why, now.
When, where, why, how? Yep. Okay, what the message was. What else might they want to know, Zach? I'm on to you. It's okay, come on.
Aftermath.
The aftermath. What happened after the message was given? What were the miracles? Yes.
Depends where.
If you flip your paper over, what else might you want to include?
What the message means to me.
What the message means to me.
It means.
Okay. So that's how you're going to analyze it. You're going to break it down into chunks, but then in that, at some point, you're going to put it all back together as a whole. Jimmy, on the green sheet, the week 21-22, Jacob read the writing prompt. Would you please read about the sources?
No wiki, no Wikipedia, only Google. 100 point, wait, read
Nope,
that
sources. How many sources do we need?
again.
3. Required for research purposes. No Wikipedia. Internet, go on carefully. That's fine, because we know everything we read on the internet is true, right?
I read that on the internet. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln.
This will be part of church history, so go, make sure your parents are aware. Sources that might be good places. EWTN has a lot of articles at CatholicAnswers.com. NewAdvent.org, I think, is another one that's like almost an online Catholic encyclopedia. If you get to diocesan websites, those are safe, good places. All right, then we have our suggested schedule and the amount of points. We do not have class next week, which is a bummer.
Yeah, bummer. Ooh.
But I'm going to suggest you continue working that research plus step 1. Research plus step 1. Who can tell me what's going to be involved in the research plus step 1 step? Research plus step 1. What do you think you're going to be doing, Zach?
Gather sources, include resources, and complete project speech.
Oh, I forgot I put it on there. Yes. All right. It's right on there.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of stuff. How much is that worth?
100.
It's worth 100 points. Okay? That's a lot, considering the total of the essay is 250. Why do you think I did that? Bridget?
So that we don't skim over this step.
Yeah, this is a very, very important step. Okay? Now I have due April 12th in quotation marks. If I were you, I would just tell myself, this is due April 12th. Next Tuesday, when we would normally meet for class, send me a picture of what your, what this looks like, so I can see that you're doing
You
okay.
said I did it.
Okay, pardon?
We just said the words I did it.
If that's enough, I will take them. Then I have kind of a schedule lined up for you. Try to get to steps 2 and 3, steps 4 through 6. Break it up a little bit. Don't forget. First of all, don't forget, there's a 10-point late penalty for the final draft of this essay. Why do you think I'm taking 10 points away? Usually I only do 5 points. Why am I taking 10 points away? Yeah.
Because I always turn my papers in late.
Yeah, that's really it. I'm tired of Robert turning this, so I'm I'm upping it. No, that's really not.
Actually,
I
only
get that a lot, actually. I'm
Because
tired
this
of
is the
Robert.
last day of school.
Well, not totally.
Well, you
What
have 2
else
weeks.
is due on April 23rd for church
Oh, that's
history?
church history. This paper.
The presentation is April 23rd. So if you miss the essay deadline, you're also going to miss your presentation deadline. So I'm just trying to help you. Just trying to help you.
Be responsible.
Okay.
Not like those.
On your own time,
I would be angry if that wasn't true.
on your own time, carefully look over the requirements. It's pretty much what the last essay was. Okay? The other thing I want you to note, in bold, it says, I will not correct any work after 3 p.m. April 13th till April 17th.
Oh.
That's Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday. I will not be doing any schoolwork, so plan accordingly. Don't blame me.
If you're like,
Don't blame me.
well, don't blame us if someone forgets. They just start sending you a bunch of angry emails.
I
She's like gonna wake up and like your inbox is gonna be filled with messages from Caleb Murphy.
Okay,
Lots of swear words.
Oh, yeah.
thinking back over all the information I just like, poof, gave you. I want to back up now for a second. Why do you think that the first time you look at your sources, you just read them? We kind of talked about this, but I want to hear it again.
So
Caleb.
you actively read them and you're not just like skimming over it.
Well, actually, the first time through, you're not even actively reading it. You're just reading it.
Okay.
Why are you just reading it the first time through? Jimmy.
So you get what it's about.
Yeah, you get kind of that gist, that excellent. Good. Okay?
So you did.
Then, oh, Robert.
Oh, it's basically like, so like, if you found a source that you thought might be useful, but then you read it and you're like, this source isn't what I thought it was.
Oh, awesome. That is a fantastic note. Actually, I'll show you my sources, and I had one source like that. Yes, you can do your happy dance. You might pull a source, and after reading over it, go, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. This isn't going to work. Okay? It's a lot better to find it out before you've actively read it and started trying to use it into your paper and go, oh no, this is a piece of junk article. So that's an excellent idea. So general impression, and to make sure it's going to fit. Okay, then you move on to that next step. You've mulled over everything. You do your fold chart. You
Mine's
start
already
filling
folded.
things in. Then at that stage, you go back through, and then that's when you actively read. What are you trying to do? You're not actively reading and filling in your chart. You're just actively reading and color coding it according to your chart. Why are you actively reading and not writing on your chart at the same time? Why are you just underlining at this point? Why do you think I would have you do that? Because I want you to spend a lot of time. Yeah, Jacob knows. Why do you think I'm having you read it the second time to actively read and highlight but not write anything down yet?
So you don't overwhelm yourself and to have you really focus on the paper and the different sections in it.
So you don't overwhelm yourself, so you can really focus on the information. You just focused on the information and making some connections, okay? You're actively thinking while you're reading. Then, after you've done that, that's when you come back and you actually fill the chart in, okay? Why do you think you don't fill the chart in until the third step? What has happened in your brain each time you've gone through? Robert?
Basically what you've done is you've taken the information and you've sort of like, since each paragraph has a limit of like number of sentences in it, and since you only get so much information in one paragraph, you sort of take the best information, you essentially curate it, so then you put in the paragraphs and then you have almost like curated paragraphs, like you put
Right.
everything. In the second step, then you just be like, you have like all this information, and then you have like, pick out the most important parts, and that'd be a waste of time.
So you're able to pick out, after reading through it, pick out what is most important.
Yes.
Okay. Caleb?
Well, basically what he said,
Okay.
just being able to, like, if you do 3 steps, it'll help you to fully understand all of the information that you're taking in and be able to pick out the best information.
Yes.
Because if I read through the article, I might pick out sentences early on that I think, oh, this would work. and then later on not pick like really good.
Right, you might go, oh, this one's really good. Yes. And each time you do that, your brain is making more connections. You're pulling in more information about this. All right? One thing I forgot to mention is after you've filled in this chart and you're looking over it, you may find that you have duplicate information. That's okay. If you have duplicate, cross out the one that you don't like as well. Keep your strongest arguments. You may also find, looking over this, that you have one section that has tons of information and other sections might be smaller. Where do you think you would put that section that has the strongest arguments in your paper? Zach?
First.
Maybe first or maybe
First.
last.
I think you just remove it from the entire
Yeah.
paper.
This is too much work. I'll be way too many sentences. Yes, Caleb?
Just to clarify, so up to filling out this whole that whole paper, that is step one.
Step one is all the way up, filling out this
Okay.
paper. Gather sources, read sources, complete the planning project sheet. So to get to this point is 100 points. Everybody's got that? So you want to try to be to this point by next Tuesday. All right. Oh, I forgot. Another reason that we do these step by step and that you have to handwrite this out, not just copy and paste.
Oh no.
It keeps you from committing the sin of plagiarism. Okay? By this time, you really should be feeling it. You can, summarize sentences because you're more familiar. If you're just cutting and pasting, it's very easy to plagiarize.
I know, it's so,
Okay?
it's so fun. You just
All right, let me look back over my notes. We had a lot. Yes, we did that. Yes, we did that. Okay.
I'll leave the line.
The very last thing I'm gonna do, and I'm sorry, I just wanna show you my example. This took me about 20 minutes because I wanted to see what I was asking of you guys. How difficult is this? Liam, thank you. I chose Our Lady of Kibeho. I think that's how you pronounce it, Kibeho. And I looked and did my own research to find 3 articles about Our Lady of Kibeho. I found my first article, which isn't too long, and that's the other thing. These articles shouldn't be that long. You're writing a 6 to 7 paragraph paper, not a 6 to 7 page essay. Okay, so they're not too long. I found one article. This came from the Denver Diocesan newspaper. Okay, about Our Lady of Kibeho. All right. The second one came from Catholic News Agency. That's another place. CNA, Catholic News Agency.
Not to confuse with CNN.
Okay, not CNN, CNA, Catholic News Agency. And I found another article. And then the last one I found was from EWTN, and it's actually the judgment on the apparitions of Kibeho. That one's a little bit longer. But all of it together is only, let me see, 1, 2, 3.5 pages, front and back. That is not a book. That's not that much. You can also use a book if you have a book at home about one of your, whatever apparition you choose, but obviously you're gonna have to just pick a section out of it.
Or you can read the whole book.
You could read the whole book and then focus your notes from a section. All right, does that, okay? All right. I know you guys can do it. I've been reading your writing. I'm excited to see where this goes. This is the culmination of the year. And I'm excited just to read and see what you guys come up with. All right. Any last questions? No? Okay, very good. Make sure, I think I even have it on here. Before you put your stuff away, hey, isn't that mine? No. Oh, I have one just like it. Have this assignment sheet handy. Have the Week 21 lecture notes with you. We didn't go over those, actually we did. This was everything we did in class. So you want that, you want this, you want your orange Writer's Right handout, your purple sentence starters, your yellow transitions, and your blue avoid word list. Believe it or not, when I am correcting your papers, I have all of that information with me as well. I don't have it memorized in my head. I have to refer to this stuff frequently also. So just because you have all those handouts doesn't mean you don't get it. You do. And you're actually being smarter and kinder to yourself by having all of your resources handy.
Self-love matters. guys.
Self-love matters. Be your own pet.
Be your own. Come on.
All right, so put all of today's papers in one place in your folder.
That's
All right.
like a TED talk.
Like and subscribe.